Your YouTube channel is doomed. The algorithm has changed. Views are about to tank. Sound familiar? It seems like every time YouTube so much as blinks, creators everywhere are sent into a panic, afraid that the end is nigh. But I'm here to tell you to take a deep breath because it is not what you think. Hi there, I'm Stanley Orchard. In this video, we're going to take a breakdown of the latest YouTube algorithm updates that have been happening that everybody has been so concerned about. We'll reveal what's actually happening behind the scenes, and more importantly, explain why these changes are not a death sentence for your channel. In fact, they might be an opportunity, but we'll get into that in just a moment. See, there's been a change to how videos are being shown to viewers, and you may see an impact in the number of views that you are getting as a result. But I promise you, by the end of this video, you are going to feel a lot better about the numbers that you are seeing. So stick with me on this because I promise you it's not all doom and gloom. As usual, just before we get started and before I provide you any value at all, like any other good YouTuber, I'm going to encourage you to please consider subscribing and doing all of the YouTube things because, duh, that's what we do. One of the changes that was made recently is that the algorithm is now prioritizing returning viewers and engagement over pure watch time. Historically, we were all kind of focused on making sure that the viewer was watching the entire video. We want to make sure that they are enjoying it from start to finish. Problem with this model that YouTube is trying to address is the fact that while you might keep somebody interested throughout the course of a single video, well, that doesn't accommodate for videos of different sizes and lengths and things. For example, let me put it this way. Let's say that you make an 8-minute video. How on earth, even if somebody watches that video for 100%, how on earth is it supposed to compete against an 8-hour video that somebody, just turns on the TV at night while they're falling asleep? They may have watched that entire 8-hour video, but that doesn't mean they were interested, it doesn't mean they were engaged, and it doesn't mean that that video was better than your 8-minute video. This is where you are going to see a change in the performance of a video based on its engagement. They put a little bit of a boost, I guess you could say, on things like likes, and if somebody subscribes to the video and all of those different things. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. There are 1,500 different metrics that YouTube is going to look at in order to determine what is an engaged and enjoyed video. Here's another great example of good performance on a short video. If you have a 8-minute video, and somebody watches that and they enjoy watching that video and it causes them to go on to watch 3 or 4 other videos. Let's say, for example, that viewer ends up watching 2 or 3 hours worth of your content. Well, that first 8-minute video is not going to get credit for the watch time that is gained by these other videos. Well, except that it is going to get credit for that. You're not going to see that in the watch time metrics for that first video because that's one of those 1,500 metrics that YouTube is using to judge the performance of your video, but they are taking into account how well you are entertaining a viewer to the point where they are watching multiple videos. That is where returning viewers comes into play. If you can cause somebody to not only watch a video, but come back and watch more, that is a more valuable video. And that doesn't necessarily mean subscribers. There have been plenty of times that we have all sat down and watched a video and we have wanted to watch multiple other videos from that creator, regardless of whether or not we actually want to subscribe to them and continue watching their videos for the entirety of the life of that channel. It's about bringing people back for more. You are being rewarded for making content that people genuinely enjoy. One of the most controversial metrics, at least in my opinion, one of the ones that I really don't like this decision, but I understand why they made it, is YouTube is now showing different view counts for shorts videos than what they're actually getting. Let me explain that. Since its inception, one of the things that creators found really valuable about TikTok is that, generally speaking, YouTube cannot hold a lit match to the sheer volume of views that creators are getting on that platform. Unfortunately, these are like really vanity metrics. I don't like this because it gets people off in the wrong direction, but what's really happening is every time somebody sees your video on TikTok, it counts as a view. I mean, every single one of those scrolls, that's a view. And there's no value in those views. People aren't actually watching. You are just being shown out a whole lot and skipped through. Additionally, YouTube counts a view on a shorts video if it has been watched for at least 3 seconds. And the thing is, that is still the case. A viewer has to watch your video for at least 3 seconds in order for that shorts video to count as having been seen for that amount of time. What YouTube changed about this, however, is that when people are scrolling through a YouTube feed looking for videos, every one of those counts as an impression. An impression is when YouTube shows a viewer a video and they decide to either click on it or watch it for at least 3 seconds. That's when it becomes a view, is when it's clicked on or seen for 3 seconds. So an actual view on a shorts video is that it has to be seen for 3 seconds. However, now YouTube, instead of calling those swipes impressions, they're calling them views. It's intended to make people feel a little bit better about the numbers that they're seeing, regardless of whether or not they're getting paid or, being successful. Now, in the long run, I don't see how much of a change that makes for you and I, people who are actually trying to make good content. But what it's doing is making some of these creators who are maybe, a little less talented and they just want that hit of dopamine, it's going to make them feel a little bit better about themselves. 3 years from now, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to know the difference. So I don't know that update was that important, but here we are. Now, this change is for basically viewer-facing reporting, and it has no actual impact on the amount of views that you're seeing. Those impressions that are being counted as views, they don't count towards the actual views for monetization. They don't count for monetization if you're already monetized, like you're not getting any money for these additional swipes or anything. It's just bolstering the basic numbers that people are seeing so that they feel better about themselves. Makes absolutely no difference to the actual performance of your video. Finally, the third change that was recently made to the YouTube algorithm that is, honestly, it's going to be an absolute killer for some videos. This is going to be something that is directly going to affect and have a direct impact on the number of views that a video is going to get. You see, on the YouTube homepage and some of the other feeds, I believe, YouTube shows these thumbnails to viewers for them to watch videos. One of the problems that YouTube was having is, well, creators want their stuff to be shown regardless of whether or not they have a million bazillion subscribers. You still want your video to be shown out there. The other side of that problem is that when somebody is scrolling through their feed, well, they want new content. They want fresh stuff, and sometimes they don't want the same video to be shown to them over and over and over again. They want something new. They want something different. So what YouTube did, and I don't know how this isn't more controversial, but you can test this. Go to your home feed and go through the videos and see what happens. See if you come across this issue. You are going to find videos that are being served to you from smaller creators. They actually dedicated 20 to 30% of the home feed to creators and specifically to videos that are brand new, that don't have a whole lot of views, that are not from channels that have a whole lot of subscribers. Yeah, they literally dedicated space to small creators in the home feed. Your videos now have a much higher percentage chance of getting into a viewer's home feed. And that is where, well, that's where you're going to see some explosive views. In conclusion, the YouTube algorithm is not out to get you. As you are going to hear me say over and over and over on this channel, the main thing that you need to focus on, make great videos, make good content, make stuff that people enjoy. The model is moving in a smarter direction, and it's moving in a direction that is going to reward smaller creators. You just need to focus on making videos that people genuinely enjoy and want to return to your channel so that they can see more. Convince them that they need to subscribe to your channel, at the very least, return to your channel, because you provide something that they need over and over and over again. Focus on doing that. If you enjoyed this video and maybe want to come back, if you want to be a returning viewer for more ramshackle content based on trying to help you with your channel, or at least give you some positive encouragement, maybe consider subscribing. I would very much enjoy having you along for the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.